things are changing all the time, but I'm actually wondering if now is the right time to book your cruise for 2021 or even 2022. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, this video might seem a little bit contrary to the video that I put out last week, which was all about me canceling my cruise and about what you need to know if you might want to cancel your cruise. But something that I did mention in that video is how I actually booked a pretty amazing cruise for 2021. And it really got me thinking that I wanted to share with you why I think it might be a good time to actually book a cruise. And I'm going to go over that with you in this video. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please remember to give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, let's get started. The number one reason maybe to book a cruise right now is that the prices are really good. For the longest time, cruise lines were really keeping their prices pretty high. We all kind of wondered at the beginning of the pandemic, well, if when cruises did restart, if they would be discounting them all. Well, cruise lines seem to really be sticking to those higher price points. But something that a lot of us have noticed over the last couple of weeks is that the prices of cruises, at least for 2021, but I would say even beyond that, well, that they've actually come down. Cruise lines are offering some perks and some promotions. A lot of that is through some of the larger travel agencies, so you definitely want to check that out. It seems like the uncertainties, the Delta variant, the travel restrictions, and the protocols and the testing, well, that really has made a difference. However, cruise lines have made things a little bit easier, which we will talk about later in this video. Now, even if you don't want to take a cruise tomorrow or next month, if you wanted to book something even for the holidays or for Thanksgiving, this can be a really good time to book. And while Carnival definitely has some amazing promotions out there, so do other cruise lines that typically have a higher price point. So that could include Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Princess, Holland America, Norwegian Cruise Line, and more. Now, beyond the price itself, it's also a really good opportunity. The fact is, most of the time, mainstream cruise lines are pretty crowded. And this is a time now that you can get on some of the biggest ships that usually would have a lot of people on them. And you could probably get on with about between 50 and maybe 75% of the capacity. It's definitely going to be quieter on the ship while still having enough people that it's still going to feel really fun and enjoyable and have that atmosphere. But you have less of a wait for the dining room. You're not going to have to deal with those annoying chair hogs or all the people reserving seats. It really is a nice opportunity to cruise with, well, less crowds, which I think really for a lot of us and a lot of people that have been going on cruises have said has actually been kind of a surprise pleasure. The safety of cruise ships. Now, if you've been following the restart of cruising, you are very aware of all of the testing protocols, of the fact that cruise ships themselves, that almost everybody is vaccinated. You can even have some cruise ships that are 100% vaccinated if that is what you prefer. And this is something that's funny that I was talking about with a friend yesterday. I hadn't seen this friend in a little while, and she had talked to me about when the cruise ships would restart. She wasn't even aware that cruising had restarted because she assumed that right now, with the virus kind of still continuing, that cruise ships weren't running. And when I explained to her that almost everybody is vaccinated on the cruise, all of the protocols, she was saying like she would even go on a cruise ship because it seemed actually safer than most other vacations that you could do. Now, of course, you have to decide for yourself. Perhaps now is not the time that you want to take a cruise. Maybe you are in a high risk category, or maybe this is just not a risk that you want to take, and that's absolutely fine. But if you are vaccinated and if you feel comfortable with all of the different protocols and you're okay with some of the even restrictions like mask wearing and things like that, then this is definitely a good time to feel safe on a cruise ship. The flexible cancellation policies. Now, I really think this is such a plus. Normally, I would never make a final payment on a cruise that I wasn't 100% sure that I could go on. But now with the flexible cancellation policies, well, it is a good thing. And obviously you have to check with your cruise line, make sure that that still applies for your specific cruise. But with the flexible cancellation policies, if there's a reason that you cannot go on the cruise, well, you can cancel. And in most cases, you get a future cruise credit for another cruise for a certain amount of time. So as long as you do want to cruise, as long as this is something that's in your plans, then it's absolutely a good thing to do. Now, in a video I made last week, I talked about how I did actually cancel a cruise on the Royal Caribbean while on the Oasis of the Seas. It was definitely kind of a tough thing to do, but it was so easy and I felt good about it. Now, in my case, that had to do with my own specific situation, and your situation might be completely different. Now, another reason to book a cruise is that testing has actually gotten easier. Now, when cruise lines first announced that we would have not 3 days before a cruise to get a COVID test, but now we needed to have a test 2 days before if we were vaccinated passengers. For a lot of people, they said, this is it, I'm out, it's just too much. Plus, it was a change. So definitely quite, I'd say, even shocking that it was 2 days. But very quickly, cruise lines started to work on solutions. Now, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity, I think that they've just done a great job because they reassured passengers right away that you would be able to order these home tests from their website. Now, this isn't a home test that you can just take on your own. It does have to be sort of a supervised home test by a medical professional. And you can find some videos on YouTube where you can actually see people doing it and taking these tests. And it really does look like it's very, very easy. And other cruise lines are accepting home tests as well. Now, not all the home tests are acceptable. So just make sure that you go to your cruise line's websites. I noticed that on Princess, on Carnival, Holland America, the information is now there, and it's a lot easier to know what you can do for a home test and what you can't. Now, in this video, I talked a lot about the cruises in 2021, and there are definitely some amazing deals that you can still get in 2021, in particular for Alaska. If you'd still like to get in on this next couple of weeks, this next maybe month of sailing, there are some phenomenal deals, as well as in early October, November. I have even seen sailings even at Christmas and New Year's that are really good. Now, while they are not the same low prices that you might see in October, they're definitely lower than I've seen in recent years for those holiday sailings. Now, please let me know if you've noticed as well that the prices are a little bit lower. If you're thinking about refaring any of your cruise prices, if you're thinking about booking another cruise, please let me know in the comments below. Now, one last tip, you might be wondering how you can find out about these great deals, how you can make sure that you know about all of the different restrictions and just really keep up with everything, especially if you're planning on maybe going abroad or traveling out of country. Well, it might be a good time now to actually consider booking with a travel agent. Now, obviously, there are some pros and cons, and it might be for you and it might not be for you. However, I have a video that I'll leave right after this one about the pros and cons of booking with a travel agent, as well as the 5 questions that you will want to ask a travel agent to make sure that this is the right person to work with for you. Now, if you did like this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Bye for now, and happy cruising.